Stargirl Season 2, Episode 10. It took me a minute to get to this one, just stuff we won't get into, but I am just amazed at how fast this season is going because it just hasn't stopped. There's never been a break, there hasn't been anything. I feel like all 13 episodes are just gonna come in one week after week after week format, and then the show's gonna be done. And I'm just like, that's very impressive that a show, especially a CW show, which has been known to take breaks and hiatuses, has been consistently coming out. And I know it's a different production company and just being streamed on the CW, but it's still impressive that it's just there and it's coming out at a reasonable time. That's amazing to me. So I have been kind of hesitant on the past couple episodes. I really liked last week's, where it's just kind of like Pat dealing with his trauma. I thought it was pretty good. There's some weak moments there. And I think the stuff with Rick and Yolanda doesn't have the emotional weight that you want it to. And I think this episode was okay. I'm kind of bummed I'm not liking this as much as I have the first season. I just think Eclipso is such a big step up from the ISA that it just doesn't have the emotional stakes there. And I think next week we'll get there with some of those more interesting stakes, but this season has had a lot of bumps for me, and in this episode I think really showed the faults in that, where it's just kind of like filler to get the plot going. And I think if you maybe condensed this to, let's say, 10 episodes, I think it'd be a lot smoother. Did we need a standalone episode of Mike and Thunderbolt? No. I liked it, but it's like not needed, but whatever. So we open up this episode, we see a flashback again. Pat is getting ready to leave the JSA. He's just like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be part of this. In comes Joel McHale Starman, giving a speech that is supposed to sound riveting and powerful, but it's done in Joel McHale style. And look, Joel has just been an interesting actor his whole career. He's literally built his entire reputation off being the douchebag guy. Not even the character, just that guy. I know what he's trying to do in this moment. He's trying to play these off sincerely. I'm hesitant to say he needs the training, but I just don't think he can convincingly portray that feeling well. He just hasn't got that in his repertoire, and I think it works for the most part. So Sylvester apologizes to Pat. They kind of like tied that up in a nice little bow. And now it could be like maybe Sylvester didn't actually die when he said he did, and that's how Joel McHale's going to come back, but we'll see. So basically this episode kind of like starts to happen after we have like the big conflict with the kids and the parents and everyone's yelling at each other. The Shade just randomly shows up because he's in pain, and he's like, I know how we can like get Eclipso a little depowered. We have to bring the diamond back together, like connect the diamond to get all its pieces into one nice little bow. And in order to do that, we have to use a bunch of light to counteract the darkness. But because the cosmic staff isn't working properly, we have to find another source for that light. And this leads to a nice little road trip where Pat and Courtney are going to head on down the road, and they're going to go find Jennie, who is, of course, Jade, the daughter of Alan Scott. And that's some fun stuff there. Before we kind of get into like more of that storyline, we do get Beth dealing with her parents a little bit. She's like, I actually made friends. I have to help them right now. So like, I gotta go, and you're worried about me, but I gotta go. And then we kind of get like some narration from her and Dr. Midnighter, just kind of like figure out what the Shade is. And we kind of get a backstory for the Shade, which isn't necessary to have that in there. We already kind of knew he was connected to some things, but I guess we have to pad for time, which is okay. I'm not gonna say these shows are perfect. None of them are, except for Doom Patrol. But I'm just like, okay, I see what you're doing here. So it's kind of like the 1800s. This guy wanted to find this ultimate power, and then like he found he made like a forgery of the diamond, and then this occult group kind of like bound him to this diamond, thinking it was the Eclipso diamond, but it was kind of like adjacent connection to that because it was a forgery of that diamond. So then his power kind of got drained from that in there. It's all connected to the actual like Eclipso diamond, but he has his own kind of diamond. It's fine. It's a cute little way to get that together. We do see that the broken Shade boy is just kind of like speaking to his sister that's no longer there, just trying to like show some sympathy in that regards, which we do know he's kind of playing it up later on. We'll get to that in a bit. And it works okay. Like, I'm not going to say that stuff impressed me or blew me away, but I'm like, yeah, this is a good use of Beth. Get her to do that kind of a storyline. There's not much else you can get her to do, really. Like, what else is she going to do? So, there you go. You can have her, like, drop some exposition, and we'll come back to, like, the revelations of that in a bit here. I think that's kind of cool. Mike also wants to kind of help out a little bit more, so he tries to go rebuild, Stripe. It doesn't really work, but he hears, like, reports of, like, pink thunderbolts coming down from the sky, and he's like, oh shit, did Thunder find a new guy? And we see, like, he's just walking down the street randomly, and he sees, like, this big candy cane, this big gumdrop. Somebody just built a big gingerbread house, and yet nobody's really freaking out. Nobody thinks that's weird. Everyone in Blue Valley's just like, this must be explained by the weather patterns. Well, it's like, that's a lot of weird shit. I'd be freaking out if a big gingerbread house just showed up in my town. That's weird. That's not a normal thing that happens to people or in a town. And this is just Mike, like, somebody has the pen. Who? I don't know. We're teasing Jakeem. I like that we set up Jakeem as in this. He's only been in one episode physically. I wonder if we're going to save him till the end, or if we're like, we need to get reinforcements in here. Here comes Jakeem to help us out. We got Thunderbolt helping us out here. That could be something I see. Or they're just going to slightly tease that and then set it up later. Which, we got a third season coming, so I could see that being the case for what they're doing too. So Pat and Courtney still dealing with, like, their kind of, like, little bit of a fight going on there. Courtney doesn't trust him and all that. It's CW-ish. It works fine. They go to find Jennie. She is on the search for her brother. We get the name drop of Todd Rice here, and I'm like, that's good. Give me Obsidian in the next season. That's all I'm asking for. We're already dealing with, like, dark, shadowy stuff, so just bring it on. That's all I want. And, okay, so I'm thinking about this now. We could set it up that the Shade has this power. That power needs a host, and the host is being Richard Swift right now. Maybe they're going to tease that he gives up that power, and that power goes to Todd. That could be a way to bring that in there. Like, it would make sense to me that that's something they could explore. So they go to, like, I guess it's just like this institute for whatever. They find Jennie trying to look through her brother's stuff, and basically it's like, we need you to do this. And it kind of, like, helps Courtney figure out, like, how to work with Pat again, and it helps Pat figure out how to work with Courtney again. So they go to the old JSA headquarters, which I like that we're getting used out of, like, this one set we have that's just a garage. It was like, yep. Work your magic in there. It's the present day, so get bright lights and shit inside. We don't have to make it all dreary and, like, monotone for no reason. So we're going to reassemble the diamond, and we're going to figure out how to take down Eclipso from that. But as they actually get it to work, so the Green Lantern is physically getting the diamond back together, Beth has the realization that if we connect the diamond back, it doesn't just lock Eclipso inside, it summons him to the location, and it gives the Shade his power back. So the Shade played everybody. Yeah, he's still a villain. He, like, offered to help them, but he was lying because he needs his power to fully restore. So he does that, and the Shade just screws off to do his own thing, but still they're dealing with the ramifications of getting this diamond back together. This is where Eclipso shows up. It's a great costume. Like, I think I'm just blown away by how good it looks. It feels way more expensive than the show it's on. I thought it could get a little bit annoying just being like, oh, it's just a dude in rags doing some weird whatever, but it looks good. So Eclipso just beating the crap out of everyone. He's able to pretty much vanish away, but before he goes, he does manage to trap Courtney into the shadowy realm, or the dark realm. I forget what they're calling that realm that he takes people to, but Courtney's gone. That is where that ends. It's like, hey, Courtney's just sucked into this place. But we did see, because of DC fandom, the upcoming stuff is that, like, it's going to be like a black and white episode. Courtney is in, like, the Shadow Realm. She's talking to Cindy, and the Dragon King, and all of them are there. That's pretty cool. That's fun to see. Now, I like the episode. I didn't love it. I think it was kind of just, we have to have a cliche conflict between Pat and Courtney to rise the tensions up a little bit. We have to have Sylvester apologize. We kind of have to have these things move forward. And it's very expository in some of the things it's doing there, where half the episode is just people talking to people instead of there being any conflict, which can be fun, and it does make for good storytelling sometimes. But we are episode 10 of 13. we kind of got to pick up the pace, because at this rate, we got 3 episodes left, and it doesn't feel like our team has the capabilities to actually defeat Eclipso. We do also get a scene with Rick in prison, and I think we see that it's Solomon Grundy who is throwing him the food through like the hole in the prison. Why does this prison in Blue Valley just have like classically like, you know, castle like prison cells where there's like the 3 bars and like the open window? That's ridiculous. This is 2021, and I get you're doing some classic stuff here, Jeff, but what are you doing? What is that? That is just so weird to me, and I don't understand it, but it's cool. It's kind of fun, and the episode itself, while it's not my favorite, it's a good way to get some shit out there, and if we have to vamp for time, let's vamp for time with the Shade and Eclipso and Jennie. I'm glad to see Jennie back. I hope she stays throughout the season now. We're building a bigger JSA team, and that's pretty cool to see. I really like that. So that is my review of episode 10 of Stargirl. We have 3 episodes left this season, and I'll be back to talk about all of those. And thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.